Welcome to the Yoga Biz Champ podcast with myself, Michael J. Today we're joined by Alaina from the Offering Tree, talking about SEO essentials, search engine optimization, how you show up on Google. So whether you're dreaming of opening a studio or seeking growth strategies for your existing space, this episode's packed with must-know tips. Enjoy. Today, I have a fellow colleague that we have been working on some projects together. And I'm going to pick her brain on this because for most of us, I think it goes over our head, and that is SEO. So search engine optimization, so that your yoga studios can get found. Welcome, Alaina Bergen from the Offering Tree.
Hello, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Tell me your background and what
Yes.
brings you to this position.
Cool. Awesome. So I am heading up Offering Tree's marketing team. I started working there in September of 2023. Prior to that, my whole professional journey has been working in marketing and working in SEO and content marketing. So I started in agency life and then really lucked out and ended up at a life insurance company. That was very boring. It was very dry, very dry. SEO for a life insurance company. Are you kidding me?
Probably learned a lot though.
I sure did. Yes.
Yeah.
And also if you ever need life insurance advice, I'm your but that did get just too dry after some time. So then I started looking for jobs, and actually Offering Tree was a client of mine when I worked at a previous marketing agency.
Okay.
Job up. And he saw me put my resume in. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see your name come through. Let's make a time to meet." And then here we are. So yeah, it's been super fun. Offering Tree it's fun to work in like the wellness space and get to meet all kinds of interesting people and be on the tech side, but also meet all kinds of cool people in the wellness industry. So
well, I feel from what I know about you now, I feel like it's set you a little bit free creatively, it seems like.
Yes, definitely.
Right? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I work with you on the back end. So we've worked on a few projects in the back end, and you are super organized. And where'd you get that from?
I will say at the first marketing job that I had, my boss, who is now still one of my best friends and is a mentor for me, she was very organized with spreadsheets and stuff. So that's how what I got used to. But then also as somebody with ADHD, either I really organize my stuff or I am a total mess.
Right. Fellow ADHD and many of yoga studio fitness type people are. Structure helps, right?
Oh, yes. To me, I always say structure is the spice of life for me.
Right. You need to, I've said this multiple times on my podcast, but you need to know where that hook is, where your keys go when you get home.
Yes, exactly.
So you do have a good file structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
My best.
Yeah. And so Offering Tree, they're one of my, I have lots of partners, but they're one of my preferred partners. It has just been a really great relationship. I started working with Offering Tree, helping build an amazing 3-week intro offer automation, because the automations just got all launched in there. And we keep throwing Offering Tree in here as if people know what it is, though. But it is, if you don't know what it is, a studio. It's for solopreneurs, or on my side, the studio side of things. It's a booking platform, integrated website builder, integrated automations, integrated landing pages. It's got a lot of built-in features, and it's changed a lot even in the last year. It's exciting the direction it's going. So it's been a really great partnership, and you and I have worked on some projects behind the scenes, and so it's really fun. And so what I got to learn from you is what you are all in this SEO world, and you're writing a lot of articles, blog posts, and also updating a lot of past blog posts. And I'm imagining that's because that helps with SEO. And maybe we should even start. What is SEO? For the layman out there, basically break down the key concepts of what SEO and what does SEO mean. So let's talk about SEO and why people should care about that. So can you go over some important parts of things that they literally can go through themselves to check and see if their websites have these things. So let's talk about the structure and kind of the optimization of the website, like how that can really help them show up better in search.
Yeah, absolutely. So especially for like a local yoga studio or business like that, it's really important to have a few critical pages on your website. Some people get intimidated when they think about building a website, thinking like, oh my gosh, then I need to have all these pages and it needs to have all this stuff. And that's totally not true. A bigger website is not always better.
Yeah, I actually
So
work.
your homepage, it serves as like the first impression of your business. We all know that first impressions mean a lot. And so the critical elements to have on your homepage are space. Don't fill it up with too much copy. But the copy that you do have on your homepage, you'll want to have like your clear value proposition, like why somebody should come to your yoga studio in the big picture. You don't need to get too specific or talk about your
So,
class specifics or like your bio. Keep it general.
so can you talk about how that might have changed now? Because yeah, I feel like before people were writing as much stuff on a website and stuffing it as full of keywords as
Yes.
they can.
Yes.
Is that kind of over now? Are they reading into that now, and it needs to be a little bit more authentic? And if it doesn't actually match what you're saying you're doing, it hurts you.
Yes, that is true. So there's a few pieces to that. First, so over time, Google and thus all the other search engines are trying to get smarter to
Yeah,
suss out like bad content, or they're making it harder
yeah.
for people to do black hat tactics, as they say.
Hide used to be like hiding text, colored
Yeah.
text the same color as a background.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was
Yeah,
really popular to, yeah, do exactly that, or just like put a bunch of keywords on a page, but like
yeah,
not actually say anything on the page.
yeah,
And then you could rank. And incredibly unhelpfully, your content will be at the top.
yeah, yeah,
But now, as Google gets smarter, now instead of really focusing on like word for word keywords, it's more important to just cover concepts that are relevant to your business and relevant
yeah,
to your expertise and be as helpful as possible to
yeah,
give them what they're looking for rather than make something to rank on a search engine. If you're making your website for people and making it easy for people, you'll probably do pretty well SEO wise.
I love that. Keep it simple. It's
Yeah.
just different. It is different now. But I was just at the Ursa Fitness Conference, and so much of the conversation was about authenticity
Mm-hmm.
and how Gen Z, especially, is like really in. You've got to be into authenticity. But it's the
Yeah.
same with the website. It's like it's
Yep.
got now. It has to authentically represent you and your services or your products.
Yes, exactly. So for example, if a yoga studio suddenly started writing content about like how to best chocolate cake recipes,
Right.
like
Yeah.
obviously not your area of expertise,
Yeah.
that one isn't going to go so well as far as,
So let's talk about the components, like especially let's say a homepage, right?
yeah.
Components of that a yoga studio owner needs to go into the back end and take a look at their SEO. Let's talk at the from the top title.
Absolutely. Yeah. For your homepage, you do want to have your main header or your title of the page, which typically it can be like your business name and a little tagline,
Yeah.
but it just needs to be clear and descriptive and communicate like the primary purpose of the page.
So you're talking
And
about are you talking about the banner part being important for
yes,
the SEO? So
yeah,
the whole banner.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. So quite often with my studios, we do my studio in Fresno. Hey Fresno, yoga, blah 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 byline. So write a note right away. They know it's Fresno and
yes,
it's yoga.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, making that connection to like the local SEO piece, making sure that you're showing up in the local search results. Um,
So
do
would you say on that banner it's important to overlay the text instead of embedding it in the image?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, very good question. It's definitely more important to overlay the text than put it in the image, because although search engines are super smart, they can't like discern text that's in an image. It can only discern text that's on the page. So that's definitely something good to keep in mind. Even if you have a really beautiful graphic that has all this great information in it, Google won't know that.
And so there's text in the headers, but there's also images. So if you're putting, quite often, a lot of people will just go and change their own images in on the website, and they just literally throw up an image. So that's a no.
Correct. Yes. You want to have, like I said, start with the title, and then you'll want to have a nice hero image that goes like across the top. And then you're going to want to make sure, typically it's best if you can have images be of you and not stock images.
So for a studio, it would be real studio images.
Yes. Your actual inside people taking classes.
Happy people holding yoga mats.
But again, with like images and like visual elements, apart from making the page look nice and breaking up content, it's important to make sure the images are relevant. And for lack of a better way to put it, help the reader or the user get a sense of your vibe right away. You want to really give them a sense of who you are and your vibe on your homepage through your images and your copy. And just keep it simple.
And then the keyword part of the image.
Yes. So there's two pieces to that. And in pretty much any like website builder, Offering Tree has these capabilities. The vast majority of website builders have these capabilities where you can go in to the image that you put on your web page and you can give it a title, and then you can also add alt text. So alt text, what that is when if a blind person is surfing the internet and they come across your website, they have a screen reader that will, so the alt text is what the computer will read out loud to them when it's describing that image. So the alt text is definitely more important to spend more time on, because that's a more important accessibility feature. But you definitely want to make sure that the title of an image is like, if it's you and a student at the standing by the door of your studio, you would want to describe that briefly in the title rather than leave the title as like PNG 2.
So it's literally getting as many keywords, well, not as cramming, but as many relevant keywords into every part of your website.
Yes, trying to be as descriptive as possible and making it easy for people and for search engines and for anything that when they come to your site, it's easy to understand.
So most people are going to be listening to this and go, "Oh my God, that's a lot. It's another task I've got to do." But there are tools out there that can go through your website and analyze it and compare it to other websites and give suggestions. Can we talk? Because I think that's a realistic way for yoga studio owners to really, start looking at what they've already got.
Those tools are my best friend too.
So tell me, and do they have free versions? Do they have paid versions? Like what's
For sure. Yes. So there's a couple different options. My favorite option for an SEO analytics tool across the board is SEMrush. They do have a free trial period, and their free plan is like super limited. So if you don't want to pay anything, but you want a program to like review your site and compare you to competitors, I would recommend Moz, M-O-Z. That's a great tool. There's a whole bunch of tools within the tool. So you can compare your website to various competitors and see like, where are they ranking better than me? And what am I doing better than them? And you can also like take a deep dive on your own website and see what's helping you and what's hurting you. And the nice thing about Moz is that you can enter in the URL for your website, and then it will do an analysis, and it takes a few minutes. But then what it spits out is like a really detailed report of these are some critical SEO issues that are happening. These are not critical, and these are just warnings. And then It will also explain exactly what it means by what each like error or warning, or you can get a simple explanation of what each one is, why it matters, and what you can do to fix it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's a really great way to a great and simple and like hand holding way to get started with understanding your SEO position with.
And where do you look when you're looking at your results of your SEO? Where
Mhm.
are you going? Are you going to your Google dashboard? Are you using a tool for that? What's your go-to for that?
Yes. So when I'm just reviewing, when I want to take a deep dive on
Yeah,
offering trees SEO performance,
yeah,
there is a free Google tool that is excellent called Google Search Console.
yeah.
It's very easy to set up. And once you have it set up, you get in the moment updated reports of, and you can look historically and compare different time frames to see, oh, what keywords are people clicking on most often to enter my website?
Right.
And what pages are ranking the best? What pages are people clicking on most often?
And that can really help with ads too, right?
Yes, yeah, it definitely can. Knowing what is working from an organic perspective
Yeah.
then tells you what would be a really great candidate for a paid ad or things like that. Or maybe you should make some social media content related to that page that's performing really well. It's a good place
And
for inspiration.
and so you guys have a checklist for SEO, which is really great. And I'll link that into the show notes for sure. But it's a really great local SEO checklist by the Offering Tree. So I'll make sure that gets. But what would you say are the main things for optimizing a website? So we've talked about images, we've talked about the authentic, real, relevant content. Any other main tips for going through the website?
Use your brand name so that then when people Google Yoga Biz Champ or Offering Tree, then those pages will pop up so that
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
learn more about it.
When you're searching, what about those questions that when you search and you're searching a question and then it pops up the question with the answer?
Mm-hmm.
Can a yoga studio take advantage of that? And how do you do that?
Yes, absolutely. So those are called people also ask snippets. And the way to optimize a page for that, and also you could have frequently asked questions, or like you can have a list of frequently asked questions on
Yeah,
your at the bottom of your homepage or at the bottom of
yeah.
your like a product or service page, and just ensuring that like you have a title for those frequently asked questions that
Would it be as a question or just a title?
here's what I do when I want to rank
Yeah,
for people also ask snippets. I will, for that section, whether it's a blog or whatever, the title I always have as frequently asked questions or something that gets that point across
yeah.
clearly. And then just all of the list a question that is common and then list the answer. And it's literally just that simple. But it's really important to make sure that you clearly identify that section of the page is common questions, and
Okay.
then you clearly identify that this is the question and this is the answer. Because
Yeah,
then
yeah,
when
yeah. And
Google
it'll
is like,
pick up on that.
yeah, scanning your content, it'll be like, oh, this is exactly the answer to a question that so many people ask.
Right, right.
And
And it'll deliver it
suddenly
up.
you're like at the top of the search engine results page.
Let's take a moment to breathe and talk about turning your yoga business dreams into reality and nurturing the growth of your yoga sanctuary. At Yoga Biz Champ, I offer 2 specialized coaching packages tailored just for you. My Starter Studio package is designed for dreamers ready to bring their vision of a yoga studio to life, while my Grower Studio package supports existing yoga studio owners in expanding their impact and community reach. Right now, if you also head over to the show notes for this podcast, there's a link in there, my exclusive link for receiving 2 weeks demo with Offering Tree, which is a really great studio software booking platform and marketing platform. So if you're curious, you can either go to my show notes or head over to yogabizchamp.com/podlink, where you'll discover all of my free resources, including links to Offering Tree, and also you can book a free consult call with me. So again, head over to yogabizchamp.com/podlink. So a lot of studio owners have incorporated blogs, including Offering Tree, and you and I have
Mhm.
been working on some of those projects. And how important, because for me, I hate writing content. I really don't enjoy writing content, but I can grab the camera, I can speak into it, I can edit it
Right.
down, I can throw it up online, not look at it again and be good. But I know words matter when it
Mhm.
comes to SEO. Should a yoga studio or any fitness modality be creating blog posts?
Haha. I mean, the thing about a blog is it has potential to be really helpful to your business, but only if you're interested in like really doing it and putting in the effort. If you really only have the capacity on your team or in your life or however you're going to resource your blog, if you only have enough resources to write some thin content that's not really strategic and you're not totally sure why you're writing it,
Yeah.
don't bother with a blog. Spend your efforts in other places that'll be more valuable for your business. But if you do have the resources to spend time and make really quality content and really research what your audience questions your audience has and offer meaningful, helpful answers in your blog posts, then yes, you should totally create a blog and
Yeah,
it will be
yeah.
really helpful for your business. Because
And
then if somebody is Googling, they're not necessarily like thinking about finding a place to do a yoga class yet, but maybe they're like comparison like best yoga mats or
yeah,
best yoga, I don't know, something else, but like best yoga mats. Then if you have like a review of some yoga mats on your blog that you have tried and you would say, oh yeah, this is a
yeah,
good
yeah,
brand, that would rank, that would drive people to your website who are then like, oh, this yoga studio gave me really great information and I'm interested in taking a class. And they may act then, or they may file it away for later, but that's a potential customer.
yeah,
So it's a long game, the blog. It's not like immediately high converting. A blog is not
yeah.
to
I feel like it's really important and relevant to someone like the Offering Tree,
definitely.
maybe even a little bit more than a yoga studio.
Yes, I would definitely say so because so a yoga studio, they're looking at like a local audience. They're looking at people in their like geographical area
Yeah, yeah,
typically,
yeah,
which then means you would want to be ranking for, or you would be focusing on keywords that are
yeah,
like, in
yeah,
my case, I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. So if I had a yoga studio, I would be focusing more on optimizing my website to make it clear that like I offer these services in St. Paul, Minnesota.
exactly. Let's talk the
Mhm.
Google business profile and then local, because that's really where the community studios are.
Yes.
That's where their SEO, and that's really where they're sitting. The Google business profile, I feel like a lot of people set it up and set it free.
Yeah. Honestly, when it comes to being a local business, aside from having the right pages on your website, the Google business profile is like your bread and butter, really.
Yeah.
Um,
So fill
so
it out thoroughly. Every single little bit
yes,
of it you
if
can.
yeah, if you download the local SEO checklist
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Michael's going to share in the show notes, I have a really detailed section in there about beefing up and like crushing your business profile. And yeah, so you definitely want to fill out every single section because also the more complete your profile, again, the more detailed information you give to Google and to users about what you do and why it matters, the better
And Google likes to see updates on there.
it does.
Photograph updates. It likes reviews. And can we talk
Mhm.
about not just reviews, but answering reviews?
Yes, absolutely.
Important.
Yes. Before we get to reviews, there's a couple other like basic
Yeah,
pieces to
yeah,
check
sure.
real
Yeah,
quick.
please.
So when you fill out your Google business profile, you have to choose a business category. And selecting the proper category for your business is pretty critical because it helps Google show you to the right audience. And for some people, it's more straightforward than others, like what their business category is.
Yeah,
Um, but you want to be as specific as
yeah.
possible. And if you have a few different facets to your business, then you would want to focus on the most profitable.
So how often? So people should be updating that. Do you think updating things like events and things
Oh,
like that.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So really keeping it.
absolutely.
There are tools out there too. Some of the automation posting tools as well that do post to the Google profile as well.
Yes, yeah, there you can do that. I would say if you're strapped for time and can only do like a few things when it comes to your Google business profile, make sure you're adding photos and videos that are updated, because businesses with photos receive a lot more
Okay.
requests for
Okay.
directions and
Okay.
clicks through to their websites
Great.
than not.
Yep.
And then managing and responding to reviews. Encourage customers to leave reviews. Always good.
Yeah.
You're going to want to respond promptly and
And if you've got automations, Offering Tree does now, you can actually use those to drive customer reviews, which is amazing.
yes, absolutely. But yeah, you want to respond promptly to the reviews, even if it's not a great one, because it shows that you value customer feedback and that you can take it, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And respond to the tough ones.
Yes, exactly. And then, like we've been saying, make sure you keep your information current. If your hours of operation change or like little things, just
Yep.
make sure those stay updated.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can also, there's like a messaging feature so that people can directly message your business from your profile.
Okay.
That's not essential if you're like strapped for time, but if you're like, I'm gonna crush the Google business profile and I'm gonna do everything I can,
Turn that one on.
and enable messaging, respond to the messages, and
Oh,
that'll
I
also
have not turned that one on. I just is can I manage another messaging?
exactly, yeah. How many different places can you check for messages every day? Yeah.
So that leads into local, which that's our the main focus for the community, especially when it comes to advertising too, like any Facebook
Yes.
or Google ads. We're usually doing that to a circumference around the location,
Hmm.
how people can beef up their local SEO.
What's really important to capture local traffic is to understand how those people are looking for services like yours. So you can do keyword research, you can do audience research, you
Yeah,
can
so
all
there's
kinds of,
can we just stop there and just talk about the tools there? Because there's things like
yes.
Neil Patel has products and
Yeah, I would say again, like I said before, SEMrush is a
that
tool.
gives you that.
You can also do keyword research.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I like to keep it all in one thing. You
Okay.
can also do keyword research in Moz, pretty much. And Neil Patel,
Answer the
I can give you a
yeah,
answer the public is different, but also a good tool. I
yeah.
can talk about that in a second. But it's not for keyword research as more as it is about like popular concepts. To identify how people are searching for your local services, there's a few different steps to the process. So first is just like the basic research process. You're going to want to understand who your audience is, who are you speaking to, and where are they looking for businesses like yours?
And
Are
quite
they on
often they're
Google?
going yoga near me, hot yoga near me.
Yeah, exactly. Or even are they on Google, or are they on more like forums? Should you be more active in like forums, local
Okay.
forums, or
Reddit's becoming more Reddit's scoring higher now in Google now, right?
yes, yes, because Google really values expertise. So
Yeah.
like you can show that you're an expert and you also have experience in something and that you're an authority on the topic, Google will favor you.
Yeah,
Uh,
so for a yoga studio owner, that could be going into local Reddit subgroups. And when somebody says, I have a back problem, go in there and say, solve their problem with some yoga stretches or that kind of thing, where you're just going in and helping people.
yes, absolutely. And so then once you understand your audience and have a feel for where they're looking for their information, use keyword research tools like SEMrush or Moz, and you can really easily find out like how often somebody searches for a phrase. Literally, one of the metrics that they show in these tools is how many people in the United States search for this phrase, this exact phrase in a month.
Yeah.
And you'd be shocked. There's countless keywords that you would never guess people search hundreds of thousands of times a month.
Yeah. Got that keyword research though. What do you actually do with it? So then do you go, is that content or is that going into the website and making changes around those keywords or going into the back end
Yeah.
So what do you actually do with that?
So once you get the keywords, and one more thing on the keywords, for local keywords, you want to make sure that you're including like local city names, region
Yeah.
specific terms, or like other qualifiers like best, near me, top.
Ah,
Then once you
yeah.
have this list of keywords, then it gives you insights into the searcher's intent. Yeah, it's intent is a hairy thing to parse, but usually if you're going to write a blog post, you'll look for a keyword that is labeled as like informational intent. So
Yeah.
like, how much does a yoga class cost? That kind of thing. And then when people are looking for actual services, so then if you have yoga for arthritis, that would be a keyword that you would work into your landing page or your description for your yoga for arthritis class. And then that's working keywords into the relevant spot on your website is how different parts of your website rank
Right.
for the relevant information.
Right. So we've got content. So we've got local, and I talked about not everybody likes writing content, but
Yes.
there are a few ways around that, right? So, for example, quite often I will take a podcast recording like this, take the transcript from it, and put it into something like ChatGPT and say, write me a blog post around this. Obviously, you have to go and tweak it and what have you, but it's a good, if you get stuck on things, it's a good start. I'm also going to give a shout out to using ChatGPT for search engine research as well.
Yes.
And also so I've, with a studio before, used it for going and analyzing the studio's competition who was ranking high and
Mm-hmm.
analyzing the studios and saying, how can this be improved?
Yeah. Honestly, something that I do similarly, I'll take like a page from Offering Tree's website or one of our blogs that needs to be refreshed. And before doing that, I will go to ChatGPT and I will give it a link to like Google's content quality guidelines and be like, can you read that?
Oh, okay.
Tell me what, and
That's a
summarize
good.
that for me, just so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know that you
yeah, yeah.
understand what I'm asking. And then I will then feed it our page that I want to refresh. And I'll be like, okay, so based on those guidelines from Google, what recommendations can you give me to improve this content to
That's a
be more helpful for
great
the user?
one. That's a great one.
Yes. Um, as a small aside, I'm actually going to be doing a webinar like ChatGPT and natural language processors in the not so distant future for Offering Tree.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
I'm a dork about that. I have like a massive library of prompts and stuff. Like,
Really?
love ChatGPT. I totally I'm not against it, even though I am like writing is a big part of my job. What's most important when you're using a tool like ChatGPT is you're using it to do a task or write a thing that like you do know about.
Yeah.
And but as like an assistant to help you. Like you
I,
said, you will need to go in and tweak the content, but
yeah. I like you can literally have it go and analyze so many things out there. It's just
mm,
yeah, for me it's like having a best friend sitting with me.
yes.
So we talked about the content there, and one of the things that's changed now though, and tell me how this is relevant to SEO, is a lot of content has gone to video. We're really driven now by the TikTok world and the Instagram world. And can you talk about, they all have their own algorithms of how you
Yeah,
put something up, but how does that help in SEO, or
sure.
how does it show up?
Yeah. So actually, as of probably in the last year, there are really Google hasn't said it outright about their algorithm updates, but everybody I follow all kinds of like experts in the field
Yeah,
who like take Google's updates and then spit them out for the people in like understandable language.
yeah,
And there's super strong evidence that being active on social media and like trying to, you don't have to have a massive following, you don't have to be an influencer, but sharing things around on social media and having your content shared that way and people interacting with you that way is actually an additional signal to Google that people trust you or that
yeah,
people want to be like they want to follow you, like you have authority because people care about what you have to say. So there are like your social media presence is not like a primary factor that will determine how your business performs on Google, but it is like a secondary factor.
Yeah. And Gen X and Gen Z actually aren't really going to Google, they're searching in YouTube.
And
Yep.
TikTok is.
I follow marketing people on TikTok, and
Mhm.
I have suggested for you, which gives me entertainment. But when I feel like feeding my brain with some new marketing inspiration, I just go to the people I follow. And it's like these fantastic snippets of how to do. I learn about so many different pieces of amazing software from there.
Yeah, TikTok is really unique in that it's almost like a search engine in itself, where there are additional, depending on the hashtags you use or
Yeah.
whatever. Then
Yeah.
if you search marketing videos in the search bar, then what you're served is based on hashtags and
Yeah. And it can
relevant
be
to what
bizarre. I can throw something up sometimes on Instagram and get maybe 60 something views, and then sometimes I put the same thing up on TikTok and it can be like 2 point something K. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up a little bit. So I am gonna link to, because this checklist that you have got has got so many resources in it at the end of it.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure that there's a link to that. It's just, there's a lot of great value in there. I want to thank you for all of your knowledge on SEO. I'm going to ask you some questions now.
Sounds good.
So I want to know, what's your favorite work tool, a business tool, website, or resource, or
And also like generally chat GPT, like
yeah.
things that make my life easier. I like my
Oh,
organization tools, but I really like my tools that like make my life easier.
yeah. What about personal? Like, where do you, is there an app? Do you have a go-to app or a go-to website, or personally, where are you hanging out? Where,
Um,
where are your eyeballs?
Honestly, if I'm gonna play games or waste time on my phone, I might go to Instagram, but honestly, I play a lot of Tetris.
Oh, do you?
I really like Tetris. I spend a lot of time playing Tetris.
And where do everybody find you? You're Offering Tree, and I'm a partner with Offering Tree, and I will drop my partner link because folks can do a free demo of Offering Tree with my link.
Yes, you can do a 1 week free trial. And if you do decide to do that and you find you would like a little more time or need some assistance, if you just reach out to the Offering Tree team, we're pretty flexible with helping folks and extending your free trial to help
Yeah,
you like figure
yeah.
things out before you like have
Yeah.
to.
And I gotta say, we were on the new community call the other day, and I gotta say, the team Offering Tree, it does, I said it feels like family, but it is just, they genuinely care about helping everybody. And so that feels really good.
It was really refreshing to go from working at a life insurance, like a massive corporation life insurance company, to then coming to work at Offering Tree, where yeah,
They
there's
really,
10
and
of
they
us.
really
And
listen to you. Yeah.
yeah, they like when I get feedback in like the newsletters and stuff or like little comments, like I passed that on to Arvind, who like is our software developer, and he'll reflect those changes in a day sometimes.
I know.
So
It's
they
pretty,
really value the community for sure.
yeah, they really are. I've
It's
made
cool.
suggestions in there. And folks, if you go try it out, and you can have a peek at the Yoga Biz Champ intro offer sequence of automations.
Yes, it's great.
Alaina, thank you so much for being here. It's always fun to hang out with you. And thank you for sharing all these little tips for yoga studio owners. And yeah, thanks again.
Absolutely. If our conversation was a little bit meandering, check the SEO checklist because
Yeah, it's
that, if anything wasn't clear, that will clarify any questions you
yeah,
have.
it's very thorough. So thank you for that.
Yes,
Take
absolutely.
care. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Big thank you to Alaina from Offering Tree for sharing invaluable SEO tips to help your yoga business shine online. Whether you're embarking on the exciting journey of opening a studio or you're seeking ways to grow your existing space, I'm here to guide you. Dive into my starter studio or my grower studio packages at yogabizchamp.com/podlink. And don't miss on our special offering of a 2-week free demo with Offering Tree through my exclusive link on my website under resources or in the show notes. It's perfect for bringing your yoga business to the next level. Remember to follow, like, and leave a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. Your support helps me connect with more yoga visionaries like you. Until next time, keep stretching towards your dreams. Namaste.